Hi guys, and welcome back to the SN Studio for another Army Showcase. We have the 7th Legion, the Imperial Fists, here for today, and we have not a guest, but a team member you don't normally see. Benji, Standfast Studios, here sitting with me. You've probably seen him on SN Plus because he is now playing and commanding the Solar Auxilia. So we will see him around more on camera at least.
Hopefully, that's the plan, right?
That's the plan. You do have about 2,000 points already painted, so it's exciting times, I think.
Yeah. I've told you I've got about 2,000 points.
He's told me, but I haven't seen photos, so maybe not true. Anyway, so he's sitting here with us because he is actually the painter of this amazing army. And we're going to showcase the full army. We're going to go and dwell into every single unit, conversions, painting, and a bit of a tactica for some of those units. So next up, we're going to go into why we chose the Imperial Fists. So here we go, where we dwell into the Imperial Fist itself and why we selected the Imperial Fists as our first 2.0 Horus Heresy army. Yep. Now, before we go and get stuck into that, I just want to point out that if you like these army showcases or enjoy this video at the very, very end, there is more showcases of more of our studio armies on SM Plus Full Access membership. The link is below, so if you enjoy what you see and enjoy our channel, you can support us and get more showcases like this one. Now, back to it, Imperial Fists, the 7th Legion. Benji, take us through why this was the first army. We really didn't choose it; they chose it for us, right?
Yeah, it was the big G dubs.
Yeah,
they essentially 2.0 was coming out, and they wanted influencers. I hate the word, but influencers.
People don't like that.
Yeah,
I'm one of those people that don't really like that either. But yeah, they chose influencers to represent each legion, right?
Exactly. Yeah, you had a few. The box was pretty massive, to be fair.
Yeah.
But yes, we chose Imperial Fist, which you're probably happy about, no?
Yeah, they chose it for us. So what happened was like 4 months before Age of Darkness box set was out, they told us about this idea. They invited all the biggest channels and biggest influencers on Instagram, the likes of Tabletop Tactics, Vanguard. We had Andy Wardle. We had what more painters do we had? What was the painter that was looking at the army at the end?
I thought it was
Richard Gray was there as well as another army, and just a lot of channels, Siege Studios, and each one got represented an army. If they had a background on the Legion itself, basically they told them, "I'm going to give you this army because of X, Y, and Z." They basically came to me and they said, "Look, I know you're a really big Crimson Fist fan, which I am. I have my own personal army for 40k, and Here we have it. We're going to give you Imperial Fist," and I was really happy about it.
Yeah.
Especially, I think, like the yellow is very different to anything else you see, and obviously they were the poster boys as well for Age of Darkness itself.
Yeah. We kind of
apart from the Sons of Horus. So
we lucked out quite well, right?
Yeah. Now, the pressure from all this was that they actually gave us a time frame of about 2 months, maybe more.
Honestly, less. Like.
Benji says less. It was. I think it was more than 2 months. But obviously, the box set was amazing. It was a massive release. Plastic Heresy, 30 tactical Marines. I think it was like 10 Terminators, a Spartan, characters,
Contemptor as well.
Contemptor. Yeah, it was a glorious pack. But I think it got to a point where there was much more than Benji actually thought there was.
Yeah, I think.
And you go ahead. You go ahead and talk to us about what happened.
Well,
stressful times.
Exactly. Yeah, a little bit stressful. I'm going to reel out like millions of excuses, so be prepared for those. But no, it was, being asked by GW to paint something, like being able to be featured on Community.
Yeah.
It was mega. So I was like, you know what? Let's get it done. And I thought it was possible, but.
Yeah, time frames like you had a holiday. We've got this photo of you actually painting at the holiday itself. So that was how tight the time frame was.
In Ronda.
And apart from that, then they told us like you need to send the army like 2 weeks prior to the Heresy weekend that we were invited to showcase the army. And so that was even more pressure because like we had to ship it there, we had to pay courier, and time got like really, really tight. Like Benji left the army, said it was finished. It wasn't finished.
In my defense.
No, like I think we like had to do like some basing and stuff. I think it was basically some
Yeah, that's right.
some little bits and bobs that we had to finish off just before we got sent. Right?
Yeah,
It was-
it got to the point where I was just like,
this is the max I can
yeah,
do.
this is the max I could do. And the guys, just being absolute heroes they are, managed to finish off a bit of the basing and whatnot. Because in my mind, I think it's because I was going blind by the amount of I was
But
painting
yeah,
and
hours,
whatnot.
it was a lot.
I was like, yeah, it's absolutely fine. But no, there was a few bits and bobs on the
Yeah, I
basing
think it
and
was
stuff
like
that,
nothing. I
but-
think it was like basing
Yeah.
and a couple of more weathering on the tanks. And
I
stuff.
think I just like turned my phone off for like a week. I was just,
Basically.
like ignoring
We
everything.
didn't see Benji for like 2 weeks. But look, we did it. We sent it over.
Yes, we did.
It got previewed. Me and DC traveled to Nottingham for a Horus Heresy weekender, which was great because we saw all the other armies. So basically, that's the backstory of this army and how it actually started.
What's quite cool though, I think, is that Imperial Fists were chosen, but weren't they a first army in Heresy?
They were my first army
Yeah.
previously. So
doing
in
my research, watching previous videos. You know?
yeah, basically in Horus Heresy 1.0, it was my first army. I got the Imperial Fists and the Iron Warriors just because a bit more narrative between having the two as a loyalist and a traitor. So yeah, it was really good. It was a lot of nostalgia, and obviously having it in plastic was amazing. So next up, we're going to dwell into the army itself. We're going to start with HQs, and that's coming right up. So here we go. We're going to go into the HQs, or the characters from all of the models we do have in this army. And we actually have quite a lot because Imperial Fists do have a lot of named characters.
Yeah.
And we have most of them, if not all. So let's get stuck in. Let's start with the normal Praetors and stuff like that, and then we can move on to the named characters. So we're going to start off with the two guys from the Age of Darkness box sets.
Yep.
And obviously, yeah, and the slight conversions on each one.
Yes,
I think
that's
you
right, yeah.
used some of the heads. Do you want to talk about? So
Yeah,
it's a
so-
different head.
This head, I believe, is from the Black Templars,
Yeah.
Neophytes, I think they're
Yeah,
called.
which you've used on a couple of
On
other
quite a
models.
few of them,
yeah?
actually. Yeah. It's mainly head swaps, really.
Yeah.
That Praetor over there, the kind of Mormon look
Yeah.
with his fist up, we changed the face on that. I think the beard might be a little bit of green stuff, maybe.
Yeah, I think you did. Yeah, it was.
I was getting
yeah.
super excited after Barry did one of those no retreat
Yeah, courses.
things, so I was like, cool.
Yeah, and yeah, we changed it for the fist. It normally has that raised, really long sword.
Yes.
Obviously, being fist and having the capabilities of taking gauntlets, which are strength 10, AP 1, they're just so much better. We're basically putting a fist on the guy, and it looks really cool.
Yeah,
The pose is like ready for war, and
Yeah,
you
it
can
fits
see
the
his
aesthetic,
something.
right? And I mean,
Yeah.
if at least one of them's got to have a fist, right? It's
Yeah,
in the
exactly.
name, innit?
Exactly that, yeah. So Solo Right Gauntlet on him, and I think we've got a Paragon Blade on the other one.
Yeah.
So apart from that, we've got some named characters next. No, we've got one more Praetor on the very end.
Yeah.
And that's the last one you actually painted, yeah.
It was
so
the
we've
most
got
recent one, yeah.
one of the newest Praetors in the range of Heresy. Obviously, there's still a lot of legions that are crying for their own Praetors,
Yeah.
but we do have one for the Imperial. I think it's one that's very, very cool. We see a lot of people using him, wielding a thunder hammer and stuff like that, because
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
a really cool,
Some really cool conversions.
fighting pose. So take us through about that, because that we did paint that in the black scheme, didn't we?
Yeah, that's right. So we'll probably touch on the Templar Brethren later. But essentially, he does, well, on the box art, he's the kind of classic yellow, but because we had so many Templar Brethren, and you mentioned in the list that he's gonna be with them, I thought,
Yeah.
let's paint them up in black, those Templar colours. And I'm quite pleased with it, to be honest.
Yeah,
I'm quite happy.
really
I think
cool.
the black works well.
Yeah.
And as you said, like the pose of it's like super dope.
Yeah.
Really happy with that. And again, the quality, like Forgeworld stuff I haven't touched in a long time before Heresy, really. It's just too much of a pain you have to put together. But these newer kits, definitely the quality, like,
Yeah, they're very, very cool.
much better,
Yeah.
in my humble opinion.
Yeah, amazing. So before we go and check out the three named characters we do have, let's talk a bit about the paint job, because I think a lot of people are going to ask, like, what's the yellow? Because it's something that we have a lot on
Yeah.
social media. Every time we post like Imperial Fist, people ask questions about the yellow or the base color or how they're painted. Because I think yellow is, I'm not a painter myself, even though I have painted in the past. Yellow is one of those colors that is very difficult to paint. So do you want to take us through a bit about like the colors and stuff
absolutely.
like that?
So straight away with Heresy, I know there's a lot of like grim dark paintings out there, which I absolutely adore. But I wanted the kind of vibe I went with Shaggy's Ultramarines, that just to kind of like pop on the field.
Yeah.
So they are a bit brighter than some out there, a bit cleaner here and there. But the colours really I used, it's all primed in black, believe it or not.
Wow.
Yeah. And then an undercoat with the airbrush of Avalon Sunset. And then on top of that, it is...
He's going to check his phone.
Check my
Which is
notes.
good, because this is like the proper way of telling you, because he'll probably say something that it's...
Yeah, I'll just make it up, yeah.
it's not true, and then it's true.
Uriel Yellow.
Is it? That's
Yeah.
Games Workshop one.
Yeah. All Citadel paints.
Because I think they told us to use Games Workshop paints when we were painting them. I think it
Yes.
was something that they told us to do, right?
or at least...
and then we had to tell them like what paints we had used,
yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Which makes sense.
Which, yeah, absolutely.
sense.
And then it's just a pin wash then of Scrag Brown to give it that kind of orangey thing, and then highlighted with a kind of off-white and Uriel Yellow, just mixed in like 25, 75, if not more white than that.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm happy with them, definitely.
Yeah, really cool. There's also a showcase about the basing for this.
Yeah.
I think it's YouTube, or again, or it's on SN Plus maybe.
I think so, yeah. We
think it's
actually
on
did
SN Plus. Yeah,
we
we did
actually,
a
from scratch, right, start to finish, how to do them.
Yeah.
So that's on there.
Yeah, cool.
And also, yeah, with the basing and the weathering, that's just Rhinox hide with a paintbrush. And some sponge work with, it's a pot of soily stuff. I can't remember the name, apologies, but it'll be in the,
Okay, yeah, description
below,
yeah.
for sure. We'll put the scheme in the description below. I think that'd be cool, right?
That would be cool. Amazing. We'll touch base on the black scheme when we talk about the Templars a bit further on. So let's go straight into those very important characters in the Heresy narrative itself. So the first guy we're going to talk about is probably one of the newest models we've seen as a special character, and that is the Tyrant of Cathonia himself. Very cool model. You can see he's got the pelt on it. He's a chunky boy, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a big
very
old boy.
chunky boy. I don't think you did any conversions on that.
No,
model,
I didn't.
Right?
That was just straight out of the box. Yeah, I just loved it.
Yeah,
I was like,
it
don't need
is.
to touch
Yeah,
it.
rules as well. Rules are, I think it's Vandagarios, I think his name is. I know, I always call him the Tyrant of Cathonia. Because
Just a cooler name, right?
He's the boss right now in Cathonia itself. So, yeah, he's got like battle hardened. I don't know if it's battle hardened or if it's toughness 5. It's one or the other, because the Sons of Horus character has the opposite of that. And yeah, he's a mega boss. He's very, very good. His Warlord trait is good. So I always forget to use it more, but I think that he's like quite like competitive for character itself, especially at those points. But yeah, beautiful sculpt, beautiful model. Next up, we're going to go into some older models, resin Forge World models, which have been slightly changed by Benji and have personally made them much better. So first of all, we're going to talk about Pollux himself.
Yeah, Pollux.
Very cool character. We won't talk a lot about the fluff, but I've actually been reading a lot about the fluff about him and where he started. He had a brother called Elias, which died for him. Basically trying to kill this beast when they were much younger. So yeah, it's cool start for him. Very unlucky for him, and he's always been quite an unlucky character. Everywhere he is, something big happens. But let's talk about him. Look, just the model himself. He's an old character, but the model is still really cool.
Oh yeah. Like the model still like stands up today.
Yeah.
In my personal opinion, it does. Yeah. There's a few things I changed. The head for one, again from the like 40k Black Templar neophytes. In that kit there.
Yeah.
And the scheme I changed a little bit as well from the kind of box art. So with the chest plate slightly above, I was thinking kind of my inspiration for that was like kind of medieval knights, medieval badassery. So that was like a kind of metal kind of vibe on there. And with the shield as well, I see a lot of them done in gold. But again, I just wanted this kind of like just dark kind of steel beast kind of look for him. Yeah, happy with
Looks
it.
very cool.
It's probably
one of your best models.
I think
you were
probably
very
my
happy
best
with that
model.
one.
Yeah,
you were
and
very happy with
There's
that.
like blue in the eye and everything.
Yeah, blue as an eye, yeah. Blue-eyed beauty. Perfect. And then we move on to obviously the man himself, the most powerful named character probably in Horus Heresy 2.2 at least. Eternal Warrior is where it's at, and that is Sigismund himself, obviously leading everything, and especially leading the Templar Brethren himself as a Templar.
Yeah.
So again, some change on this. Again, a really cool model. Just the pointing with the swords, it's just everything's flowing. His robe's flowing. The base, the big bases that it brings as well
really
is very cool. But again, subtle change on it. Apart from that, I think you changed some of the paint scheme as well.
Yeah. So with the shoulder, I changed that a bit to black, basically, to tie in with the Templars a little bit more. The head was from one of the Black Templar characters. I don't know if it's a name character. The guy on top of an orc stabbing down one of the new 40k ones.
That was him. Isn't that the new Emperor's Children, Emperor's Champion?
It might be, the new Emperor's Champion, actually.
The bareheaded Emperor's Champion.
So I saw the wreath on that, and I was like, that's just got to be done. So I took that off and popped it on Sigismund, and I'm happy with the way it turned out.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
He is a beast, though, isn't
he? He is like, I'm sad that I don't use him more, just because he's too powerful for any other character. So unless there's like a Primarch or something on the other side, or one of those like Servitor or what's the Emperor's Children one, just gone out of my head now. But he's a tank. He's good. He's you can't instantly kill him. He's got like instant death attacks on all his attacks. He's just too good. So sadly, I don't use him as much because he's just too good. So with that said, that is all the characters themselves. So let's move on to elites coming up next. Okay, so here we go into elites, quite an important, obviously, force organization slot in the Heresy itself. All the cool stuff, all the good stuff is in the elite slot. So we're going to start off, obviously, I think we've already touched base with them. So we'll talk about the Templar Brethren. I'm very happy that I finally have 3 units. You've probably seen them in a battle report just a few weeks ago, where I took the Brethren Assault Rite of War. And it was glorious to just see them just run out of those land raiders and chop things up. So again, customization on these. Benji, we can talk about 2 things. We can talk about the black, because I think it's going to be something that's going to be people want to know about. Again, I think we might have a video.
We do actually have a video
about
start to finish process.
Of how the black is done. So you will actually put a link on the description as well for that video. But apart from that, take us through the black very briefly, and then the conversion work, because they are Mark 6 on these, aren't they? The legs are.
A few cheeky conversions here and there. Cool. So we're going to start with the black. Undercut with Chaos Black, and then use an airbrush with Vallejo Black.
Okay.
Just all over, and then once that's done, just hit from the top with it is the Skaven Blight Dinge, I believe, like those super dark grey.
They'll see it on the video anyway.
There's no point going over it too much.
Cool. Yeah, it gives it like a matte finish, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does, definitely. The Vallejos are like lovely for that kind of matte finish. So that's what I've done on there. So in regards to the conversions, there's quite a lot. And unfortunately with Forge World, like there are a few dated sculpts. Not saying that they're horrendous, but just like the size difference.
Not as good. Size difference is the most, especially on the legs. There's a lot of the things that the torso works on any legs. Because the torso is scaled more or less okay, but then some of the legs are like really short,
really tiny.
So
really
it's basically,
thin.
I think, we just used the Mark 6 legs, right? The torso is the same.
Yeah. So the torso is the kit from Forge World. You got the Mark 6 legs, the backpack's Mark 6. The arms are, because they don't come in the kit from Forge World, there are a few that are just grabbed kind of from anywhere really, mainly from
tactical squads, right?
Yeah, tactical squads. The Battle Calf box for like the older marks and things of that nature, I think.
And the bolters were custom made as well.
Yeah,
the bolt pistols were custom made because we couldn't find bolt pistols.
No, we
that
couldn't.
time.
Because
the assault squad kit wasn't out at this point.
That's correct.
Which now we would have. It would be very easy to use.
So much easier, man.
But you were basically chopping a bolter in half.
Yes, cannibalizing some bolters
and making them shorter.
It's
great. It's a really good job.
Thanks, man. Yeah, quite pleased.
Yeah.
But yeah, Matt, you've got enough of the Templars now.
Yeah. And just need one more phalanx squad now, which he doesn't want to paint. So yeah, very cool. I've equipped them obviously with the swords and shields because it's the cool way to have them. And we do have some Solarite gauntlets on the sergeants themselves for some extra punch. So that's the first of the elites. We're going to move on to our Terminator squads, which we have 3 of. Each one of the squads is different, even though you can mix and match in Heresy. But we've divided them into 3 different squads. We've got the Fists and Bolters. which are very cool. Again, you can use them as Solarite gauntlets and stuff like that.
Okay.
And then they were part of, again, the Age of Darkness box. I think all our Terminators are from the Age of Darkness box. They're all
believe
plastic.
so. Yeah,
They're all plastic, and obviously all Cataphracti. We have a squad of Lightning Claws, a bit of tactics. Lightning Claws are great against anything, really. They've got rending, they've got a lot of attacks. I think there's 5 attacks each on the charge. Really good against things like Contemptors, which are very tough to bring down. With so many attacks, weight of attacks, they do have a lot of chance to get rending, especially with the reroll. So I like Lightning Claws, Benji.
And they just look cool, man.
I like Benji. Yeah, I like Benji and I like Benji and I like Lightning Claws. And then lastly, I think the one we normally have to mention the most is the Terminators with the Solarite gauntlets and the specific shields for the Imperial Fists, which are Vigil shields. Vigils, pattern storm shields, I think they're called.
Sweet. They just look hench.
3-up invulnerable save. Like Benji isn't the gamer that we want to talk about tactics with, but a 3-up invulnerable, you know how good that actually is. So, and they do look really, really cool. I think these were built with Power Fists and Combi Bolters at the start.
That's right. Yeah.
As part of the Age of Darkness box, and then I bought the kits from Forge World when I went over, and we basically
did the pilgrimage.
Did the pilgrimage and broke both of their arms to stick the new arms, or the shields side of it. So that's all our Terminators. Then we move on to we can move on to the right side. Yeah. So
why not?
Veterans / Command Squad, because that's what we built them as. Benji, take us a bit about this, because obviously we wanted them to stand out, so we went for like black helmets. But talk a bit about the conversion work, because there's magnets, there's some snipping off some pieces. Take it through.
Chaos. So loved the kits when they came out. Wasn't the biggest fan that the spikes were kind of there. You didn't have the option of like having them or not, so those are taken off just because they're not very Imperial fisty.
No, they're more like Death Guard and stuff.
Very Death Guard, absolutely. And then just a few conversions. Then again with bolt guns and such, I had to cannibalize a few from different kits. And
Betrayal of Calth, I think you used some of the power fists from that.
So you see some of the fists here, and then when you do some cool close-ups that you do. A lot of the fists were from the Betrayal of Calth. I think the new box of all the upgrades coming out. I think the fists in there look much better than they did in the battle box.
Battle box,
I'm not the biggest fan of the fists that come in like the new kits. But that's just me. So that was that.
Perfect. And a lot of them are magnetized, so you can put fists. We have fists or lightning claws on them, and most importantly, the guy with the Legion Vexilia or the Legion banner is a conversion. I'll give you a couple of seconds to comment if you know where it is from. 1, 2, 3. That's it. So Benji, where did we grab that from? Because we are seeing that being used a lot now in Heresy.
Yeah, absolutely. I saw it at No Retreat. And I stole the idea straight away.
I think it was Joe Moscardini.
It was.
So shout out to him.
Yeah, absolutely. To be fair, I did go to him like, I'm just stealing that. You realise that,
So it's from the Custodes, right?
Custodes, Custodes. I got that from again, I think it's one of the old Horus Heresy box sets, because the Custodes, the Sisters of Silence came
it wasn't specifically it was 40k. But it came from there,
Yeah, that's right. So it came from that box.
Yeah, very cool. And I think it really adds a special touch. And you don't see the normal material banner that we normally see. It's very different to that. Cool. Moving on to, I believe, the second last elites, which are 2 apothecaries, which we have. We do need the third one, because I do attach them to the Templar Brethren. Now that we have 3 units of Templar Brethren, we need a third apothecary. So apothecaries are great. When you couple in with 5-up Feel No Pain, and if things have Heart of the Legion, which certain Rites of War, if certain units, they basically have a 4-up Feel No Pain on an objective, which is great to see. The old models, though, it's the resin old Forge World models. There's now a new kit, which they do look very, very nice. The new apothecaries look really nice. So again, more of that small looking bodies. But I think they're cool.
So with the pauldron and the arm being all white, I like apothecaries, but when they're all white, I'm not the biggest fan. So that's why I went with like the arm only. I just think it just kind of brings it out a bit, and yeah, a bit of leather work on there instead of material. Just go with the, you know.
Again, there's another video about the leather work from you.
There is, yeah. This is on purpose. I'm not saying
Keywords
to be like video.
There is
here,
another
video
video for the leather work. So I'll put
There
all the links below for the black, the yellow, no, the black, the basing, and the leather. Yeah. Cool. So yeah, that's the apothecaries done, and then finishing off the elites, we've got the two contemptors, which I always say the same. You don't leave home without. They're just too good in Horus Heresy 2.0. Again, these are the plastic ones from the Age of Darkness box set. Again, these are great because they fit in really well, so you don't have to magnetize them. The weapons do
just slot in and out.
Slot in and out. So we did paint a few weapons and on each side. But yeah, really cool. Bit of a change. We've got one with a stripe around the middle. Ben, that's something that Benji always likes to do. He likes to change things out. And I think it's good. It gives a lot of character to each of those units.
Try and twist it up. Just a quick note when you said about the slotting in and out. If memory serves correctly, sometimes it is a little bit loose, so it doesn't fit in. So what you can do is put a bit of super glue, just a little bit, wait till that dries. Obviously, you don't want to put it in when the super glue's wet. Trust me, I did it. But no, let that dry, and then that'll just give it a little bit more kind of taut, and when you put it up, it should stick. That's something I did.
I've also seen some people use the center circle gap for a magnet, and then put another magnet on one of the sides. So they do. I think some of my Dark Angels have that. Anyway, that is elites done. So next up, we're going into troops and heavy support. Okay, moving now on to troops and heavy support. As for troops, it's quite simple, to be honest. Tactical Marines, the heart of the legions themselves. And they're great, especially with Imperial Fists. And I'll tell you why. Bolters do get a +1 to their ballistic skill. All bolts and auto weapons for Imperial Fists do get them. So this is why they're much better in like big blobs for Imperial Fists. We did do a couple of upgrades when we were actually building the Age of Darkness box set. So we do have Auxiliars, we do have augury scanners. We went fluffy and went for plasma pistols and Solarite gauntlets or normal power fists. And yeah, they look great. We also gave them chain bayonets because it was something new for this edition. And they're quite cool. They look cool. They look cool. And they're quite good in combat as well. +1 strength, re-rolling to wound. I think the problem is that you're investing points in things that normally die very quickly, so you need to cater. And you don't have to go full squad with chain bayonets. You can go like half of them. So the first ones that die are normally the ones without chain bayonets, and then you can go. But yeah, like I said, the core of an army and for Imperial Fists themselves, they are very, very good. So quick, I think not much. They are
not much conversion.
Not much conversion either. They just look good as they are. So next up, we're going to go into heavy support, which we do have quite a few of. We're going to start with the big boy himself, the Leviathan Dreadnought, which is the old resin one. It's not a plastic one. And a little story about this. Do you want to talk about the Ashen Lancers and some of the models we are using?
So Ashen Lancers are a custom chapter we did for 40k. Unfortunately, with the changes to 40k, these Forge World items are no longer acceptable.
Legends, so come to Imperial Fists.
So instead of throwing them out or selling them, we thought we'd convert it to Imperial Fists even, which is quite easy.
It was good. Like the basing for the Ashen Lancers were lucky enough to be the same basing as the Imperial Fist, just adding a bit of yellow here and there because the base is, like you've said, is the same black as what we used to Imperial Fist, and just adding some iconography and some decals and stuff like that, and it's worked really well. I really like this Dreadnought. This Dreadnought was actually a Death Guard Dreadnought. Which had you had already molded like the dents and the mutation,
with
right?
like a Dremel drill and just went nuts with it.
And then you went back into green stuff, the whole thing, right?
And then just green stuff the whole thing just because he wanted it. And I was like, I got one, but it's this state. But we were desperate, right?
Yeah, we wanted more points.
It has a special place in our heart just because the amount of needless. But it was work to get it done.
And the plastic one wasn't still out, and we really wanted one because just to showcase the rules and how tough they were. Now this one's not magnetized. This is fully stuck. So storm cannon, claw with melter, and some really nice Volkite goodness. Then we move on to more fast attack, more heavy, which is the 3 Land Raiders in the back. And the Spartan. So let's talk about the 3 main Land Raiders here. So all of them are plastic. It's the new Phobos plastic kits, which is great, right? You really like to enjoy.
Yeah, really rate the plastic kits now.
Plastic kits, and you've said that it's quite an easy kit to build.
Yeah,
so
it is.
if you haven't got one and you want one, you can check out the affiliate link below for Element Games, where they give you a 20% discount on any of the Games Workshop prices, and at the same time you're helping. So if you want Heresy stuff and at a better price, check out the link below. Again, we've gone for las cannons, obviously on the sponsors, because you can't change. We've left the heavy bolters on the front-mounted guns because it goes well with the narrative of Altar Fire and Imperial Fists.
Yeah, for sure.
And you have worked a bit different, so you've tried to go for different schemes on each one.
Yeah, that's right. Unfortunately, being yellow, sometimes the tanks look like blocks of cheese on the table.
They do, yeah.
So I just try and
change them up.
Yeah, change them up a bit. And I just like tanks looking a little bit different, so the marking stripes and whatnot. I just try to do different on each of them. So same, a little bit of a segue, but like with the Templar Brethren and stuff, I try and look back at previous pictures. Just every pose is slightly different.
Yeah,
bit of a OCD
even the helmets on the Templar Brethren sergeants are all completely different. One has a stripe, one has full back. So it's cool. It gives a bit more flavor to each of the units. So that's 3 of those. Then we move on to the big man himself, the Spartan, which I think was the first tank you probably painted for the Imperial Fists.
It was.
And what a chunky boy it was. Again, it's the plastic range. We've gone for heavy bolters for the hull-mounted weapons. Again, going with the narrative of Imperial Fist. But chunky boy, really good if you really want to get something stuck in and deliver it to where it needs to be delivered. That's the guy you want. Did you enjoy painting it?
I did, actually. Because I remember, actually, because I was just painting troops upon troops.
And then changed it to that.
Having a vehicle was delightful. Absolutely.
Cool. And then lastly, we do have the Kratos tank on the left side here. The newest tank in Heresy. Obviously, apart from all the plastic kits that are coming, those tanks have always...
I was going to say, didn't you hear there's more tanks coming?
Yeah, there's more tanks.
More tanks,
we want more tanks, But the Kratos tank, aesthetically, I always say it in every battle report, personally, I love how it looks. I think it's a very cool looking tank.
It just dominates the field.
Yeah, dominates the field. It's big, it's resilient. We've gone for, it's very easy to swap the guns as well, because you can leave the front turret, you can leave it open. And
so it's not glued.
It's not even glued, it's not even magnetized, you just fit them in and then close the bottom. And it's great. Look, great looking tank. I think the black and the yellow, you've done a really good job with that again.
Yeah, man, thank you.
Because like you say, like if you paint the whole thing yellow, they sometimes look like a block of cheese. So having so much black incorporated, and we are using a lot of black throughout the army, as you can see, just fits in very, very well. We've gone for the Melter, the las cannons, and the auto cannons, which I believe is the best loadout, especially for Imperial Fists, because auto cannons do get a +1 to hits. That's the heavy. That is the troops. No, one more heavy, which I'm missing, and that is the heavy support squads just in front with the illustrious assault cannons. Let's talk a bit about that, because we've used the normal assault cannons, and obviously using them as illustrious, a bit naughty, but it's just easier to grab, especially with plastic. Sure. But you have incorporated a bit more black on the shoulders, right?
Yeah, that's right. Again, with any kind of unit, when they're kind of doing different roles on the field, I like to kind of make them look a little bit different. So like with veterans, a different color. With these heavies, it was like a stripe and then a stripe on the shoulder as well. Just so like, when you're playing and when you see them, you can see that they're like different and in different roles and stuff.
Definitely.
I think like drilling each hole of the assault gun, that was...
Yeah, I saw that. When you put them back, I'm like, wow, that's painful. I've drilled like 1 hole before in a bolt, and I'm like, wow, imagine drilling like 4 for each assault gun.
I was just scared of like
going straight through.
And just
straight through
the thing.
Apart from that, like illustrious assault cannons are just disgustingly good. A lot of shots with rending, hitting on 2s, even though they are heavy, and they're assault instead, so they can move and fire. It's just disgusting, but this is why we only have 1 unit. We don't want to be that kind of person, and we normally have a dedicated transport. So the only Rhino we have is specifically normally for them. A melter, a multi-melter on the tank as well, because I personally believe it's a very good upgrade, even though it's expensive. You can move flat out, which catches a lot of people by surprise by moving those 12 or 14 inches, and then firing that multi-melter at armor bane range. So again, really cool little tank, plastic as well, and again, one of the first tanks which we did paint for
Yeah.
this army. And that's the heavy. So next up, we're going to finish off with fast attack. And yeah, check you out in a couple of seconds' time. Okay, so to finish off and round off this army review, which I hope you're all enjoying, please leave a comment if you are. We're going to move even if you're not, just leave a comment saying like, I hate
us,
it.
please.
just help us. So we're going to move into the Phalanx Wardens. So they are actually fast attack. I hope they are. Something's telling me they are. But yeah, they are fast attack. Look, these are... There's a rite of war called the Stone Gauntlet, which haunts people, even myself. And it's just probably the best rite of war out there right now. These guys can be so resilient. They can have a 5-up or 4-up rerollable invulnerable save, plus a 4-up feel no pain because they do get line. They're just very, very good. They're there to basically defend objectives. They're not used, even though they look aggressive, you don't want to really play them aggressive because all their buffs are when you charge them. So you're basically going to move them into an objective, onto objective, attach an apothecary and just laugh at your opponent while he cries. That's basically what you want to do. But again, let's move on to the conversion work because they do look spectacular. And you did incorporate a lot of love into the paint job itself with the shields specifically.
Yeah.
So yeah, talk to us about the conversion and the painting.
Yeah. Oof. What to say again with the Mark 6 just start in. I hope it is a Mark 6, isn't it? Not
Mark 6, yeah. Mark 6.
Just don't be called out on YouTube. Like.
Mark 6.
Yeah, just wanted to tie it in with the rest of the army, so that's why I went with their body. And essentially just the heads and the shields and the pauldrons from the Forge World kit, really.
Yep.
And everything else is just from, as mentioned, the Mark 6 kit there. Yeah, I did spend a lot of time, maybe too long. Probably had to wait a little bit more than usual.
On the shields themselves, right?
Yeah, the shields. I took a long
emblem
time
on the shield.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, the fist there. It just took a while, but I'm happy. You know, like I put the time in, and they look all right.
They look very, very cool. I want a third one, which Benji hates. I want another 10-man and 2 other rhinos to deliver them into the objectives. I know I won't be playing that Rite of War that much because it's disgusting and it smells of cheese, even though we're playing Yellow Marines. But I am sure that many of you at home would like to see them on the battlefields and see why they are so good. So hopefully in the future, in the near future, after some more Solar Auxilia is being painted, we will have a third and final Phalanx Warden unit.
Yes.
So, and then let's finish off with basically these flyers, which are called...
Xiphons.
There we go, Xiphons. Thank you. You helped me a lot.
I'm so surprised I knew that.
I blanked out completely. So flyers are not the best in Heresy, but they just look very, very cool. And this flyer specifically is probably one of my favorites as well. We've gone for the black scheme, make them look menacing, and just the black scheme is always like just looks cooler. Really cool. Paint job wise as well, we've gone for the black, which you've already experienced, but something cool and I really liked and caught me a bit by surprise is the purple tinted windows.
Yeah.
So did you see that, or was just something that it just?
So I lost the pilots.
You lost the pilots.
I lost the models because I bought these online and I thought, yeah, great. So I thought, okay, now I need to tint them.
Yeah.
And I saw something online. I think it was like a Necron something that had like a similar.
Purple tint?
It was green, but I thought, let's do some purple.
Nice.
Because purple and black, it's pretty cool. Goes with the yellow as well.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, I thought I'd just go to town and do that. Again, yeah, I'm happy with the result there. Definitely.
Yeah, they do look very, very cool.
And again, you've got a few lines here and there because I like doing my stripes.
Yeah, it's like the opposite of what you do, but it gives like an air wing type thing. It's like separate units.
Yeah.
Just coming in the darkness is just something that is very, very cool. And I think they're very good specifically. The problem is that flyers do have a lot of negatives with some advanced reactions shooting into them, coming from reserves. They're not the best in this decision. Hopefully, fingers crossed, we do see them more in play in the near future.
Yeah.
And sadly, that comes to the end of the showcase unit-wise. Talking a bit about the future of the Imperial Fists, obviously it's up to Benji to paint more. We've already said that we want some more phalanx and a couple more transports.
Yeah.
Benji, would there be anything that you want to see or paint for these guys in the near future? Or do you want to leave it to the
I think,
community?
yeah, let us know. Yeah, when you look at this army, you see anything missing?
Yeah.
Um,
Maybe a super heavy, something
yeah.
big. Maybe
so.
something big. But the problem is the super heavies are not good.
Oh.
But I think we need some more tacticals as well. So anyway, like Benji says, just comment in the comment section and let us know what you think is missing or what you would like to see Benji paint.
Just no more brethren, I think.
No more brethren, no more brethren. Anyway, that's the end of the showcase. I hope you have all enjoyed it. And make sure you check all the links below in the description. And most importantly, check out Standfast Studios, which is Benji's personal Instagram, and make sure you follow on there for all his amazing cool stuff, which you'll see Imperial Fists. You'll also see the new Solar Auxilia, which he is painting up as we speak.
Slowly and surely, but
slowly and surely.
We'll see some games in the future as well. I'm looking forward to it. Definitely.
Yeah, amazing. Anyway, thank you for joining us. And again, if you want to see more army showcases, join us on full access SM Plus membership with the link just below. That's it. We'll see you in the next video very, very soon. Goodbye.